Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss Porter's five forces model of industry competition, which is an important concept in marketing management.
Before we understand what the five forces model of industry competition is, let us look at this slide. This slide has two pictures, one of airlines and the other of soft drinks. These two pictures depict two different industries. And I hope you all understand that these two industries are varied in different terms. In terms of the profits, what they make, the size of the market, the competitors in the market, the marketing strategies, what they adopt, the distribution channels, what they have, the growth rate, and many other factors. Now, have you ever imagined why airlines make so little profit and indeed big losses? And in contrast, when we talk about beverage brands, why do they make such huge profits? We can get answer to all these questions once we understand Porter's five forces model. Porter's five forces model, introduced by Professor Michael Porter and published in 1979 by Harvard Business School, this model is a tool to analyze the competition existing between the companies in an industry. It is also used to measure the current competition in the market. It acts as a yardstick to determine the strength and the competitive positions of a company having in the market, and it helps the organizations to decide what kind of strategies can they adopt to survive in the market and to grow in the market. Now, let us understand what exactly is this five forces model. This five forces model is basically a tool to determine the position of a company into the market. This position, according to Porter, depends upon five main factors which are called as five forces here. Which are those five forces? The first one is the threat of new entrants. The second one being bargaining power of suppliers. The third one, the bargaining power of buyers. The fourth one, threat of substitute products. And the fifth one, rivalry among the existing firms. Let us understand them one by one. The first one is the threat of new entrants. Every business proposition which is profitable attracts huge new entrants into the market. Hence, the existing firms will always have a threat from the new entrants. So, what can the existing companies do? They can pose barriers in order to avoid the new entrants from entering into the market. And barriers, they can pose these barriers by having a strong brand identity, by having strong loyal customer base, by having differentiated product so that the new entrants cannot compete with them, by following the competitive strategies in the competitive marketing strategies, and so on. So, in order to fight against the threat of new entrants, the existing companies will have to pose some barriers. If the barriers are high, the threat from the new entrants is low, and vice versa. The second is the bargaining power of suppliers. The bargaining power of suppliers means that the suppliers have a strong position in the market. When can the suppliers have a strong position in the market? When there are few suppliers who can influence the price in the market, who can influence the supply in the market. And when they are strong in their position, they can naturally induce high prices from the customers and squeeze out profits from them, huge profits from them. So, if the number of suppliers in the market are small in numbers, when the buyers do not have much choice, when the products provided by the suppliers do not have close competitors or close substitutes, we can say that the bargaining power of the suppliers is high. So, if an existing firm is one of such supplier, then we can say that it enjoys high or strong bargaining power. And in case if the existing firm has any such factor, then the bargaining power of such firm would be comparatively lower and it would be a threat, it would be a factor, or you can say a problem to worry about for the existing firm. The third factor is the bargaining power of buyers. The buyers will have a bargaining power when they have huge choice, when they can influence the demand. If we are talking about a product like soft drink, the number of consumers are huge in number. So, a single consumer or few consumers, if they switch to some other products, it is not going to make a big difference. So they cannot influence the market demand as such. Similarly, and hence we can say that they cannot influence the price as well, right? And when there are the number of suppliers are huge in number, the buyers have huge choice. But when the suppliers are not in huge number, the bargaining power of buyers also reduce because they are forced to buy from the suppliers who are existing. So we can say that the buyers enjoy high bargaining power when the number of buyers is less, and when they contribute to a major output, or when they consume a major output by the existing firms. And when there are no, or you can say when the supplier cannot exert upon them any pressure because there are varied choices available to the buyers, we can say that the buyers have a high bargaining power. Another important factor is the threat of substitute products. Substitute products are those products which can satisfy the needs of the customers in the similar fashion in which the existing firm or the existing product is doing. So if the number of substitute products are available in plenty, there's a threat to the existing firms and vice versa. The last factor is rivalry among the existing firms. If the competition in the market is high, if there is little product differentiation, if there is little differentiation in the quality, price, marketing strategies adopted by the companies, the rivalry among the existing firms would be high. And when the rivalry among the existing firms is high, the competitive position of the existing firms is threatened. Hence, Porter says that these are the 5 forces which determine the profitability of a company, their existence in the market, and their future growth in the market. Thus, the Porter's theory helps the business to understand the underlying factors which affect their profitability and why the companies are making losses. It helps the companies to make decisions whether they should enter into the specific industry, what should be the right time to enter into an industry, whether they should increase the capacity, whether they should increase the number of products into the market, whether they should get into new markets or not. Similarly, they also help them to understand the forces that develop the competition and help them to develop competitive strategies accordingly. Let us get back to the example of airlines and soft drink industry. Now, from the discussion what we have made, we can understand that why some industries like airlines make very low profits and why some industries like soft drink industries make high profit. The following are the factors which determine low profits: because the suppliers are strong, or maybe because the buyers have high choice, or maybe because the entry barriers are low into the market, there are many substitutes available in the market, or the competition in the market is high. Similarly, when we talk about industries like soft drink, apparels, etc., which make huge profits, we can say that it is because the customers cannot influence the demand or supply in the market. There are very high entry barriers from the existing firms. The substitutes do not have huge opportunities because the customers are brand loyal, and maybe because there is little rivalry or less competition in the market from the new entrants to the existing firms.